intense week, hasn't it? For a lot of people in a lot of different ways. But I think this weekend's going to move us into something that's a lot more positive, I hope. So a warm welcome to you all that are joining me this evening for your yoga practice. My name's Jasmine, for those of you that haven't practiced with me yet before. So this evening we are going to take a really, really gentle restorative practice. Not only because that's our Friday thing, but because we also have a full moon this evening and a lunar eclipse. Traditionally on the full moon and the new moon we don't practice invigorating yang yoga. We practice more of the yin and the restorative based practices because there's already a lot of energy, and you might be aware of it yourselves. You might be noticing that there's been a build and a build and a build of tensions and of anxieties and a lot of fiery emotion recently. And that is escalated, of course, with the help of this full moon in Sagittarius. But I won't talk too much about that. I'll save those for my full moon ceremonies. This evening we're going to be working through releasing tension and stagnant energy that we hold onto in the hips. So this is going to be really targeting opening hip flexors, opening inner thighs, and really targeting the femur hitting into the pelvis. So these areas are really going to feel it this evening. We are going to be holding poses for about 3 to 5 minutes, so it's quite a slow practice. It's more in the style of yin. I'm doing my yin training at the moment, so I'm really passionate about this kind of yoga. So if you'd like to come onto your backs for me, we're going to start in reclined butterfly pose. So bring the backs down to the mat, bring the soles of the feet together, and then just let the knees drop wide. Just take a rock of the knees side to side, just to feel the weight of the back of the pelvis on the floor. And then we're going to take the hands together and just start to rub the palms briskly together. Creating energy, creating warmth and heat. Keep rubbing. Take a deep breath into the hands. And then as you exhale, bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Just take a deep cleansing breath into your hands here. Just beginning to connect in with all of these little things that make us innately human. Our ability to breathe, our hearts pumping blood around our body, and with direction and intention now, begin to deepen your breath, breathing into both hands fully and completely. And exhaling fully and completely. When you take your next breath in, see if you can breathe in a little bit more air, filling the lungs up even more. And then when you can't breathe in anymore, that's when you slowly allow the air to trickle out through the nose. So by slowing down this breath, our breath automatically begins to deepen. And then just allowing the arms to rest down by your sides. Keeping your legs where they are. Maybe you want to shuffle your feet in a little bit closer to your hips. So we've reduced the angle in between the knees. And just start to gain a sensation of any gripping or resisting that you might be feeling in the hips. So it's very traditional on a full moon to participate in releasing rituals. So ceremonies whereby you release things that are no longer serving you. tend to hold on to things in our hips. So that could be something that you're holding on to emotionally, mentally. And often this can be felt in a physical resistance, in a physical hold in the hips. So just notice if you are holding on right now. If you're resisting, if you're squeezing any muscles, it should just be completely relaxed. Knees heavy, belly soft. And then slowly we're going to bring the knees back together again. So draw the knees close. And draw the knees into the belly, taking hold of the shins, giving the knees a little rock side to side, just massaging your lower back on the mat. Taking the hands lightly to the kneecaps, let's just take 3 big circles in one direction, the knees moving in towards each other and then out to the side, really opening up the hip joints. And then take 3 big exaggerated circles in the opposite direction, opening up through inner thighs. And then drawing the knees into the belly, we take our yogi grip, our peace fingers, and loop them behind your big toes. So peace fingers come behind the big toes, we flex into the feet, and we draw the knees towards the armpits, elbows moving out to the side, finding our happy baby pose. You can choose here to either stay quite still, drawing the knees out to the side. Perhaps you'd like to take a little rock side to side, massaging the lower back on the floor. So it's really important that we make sure the hip and the ball and socket joint at the hip are nice and warm before we move into some of our deeper hip opening poses for this evening. And then releasing the feet, bringing the feet together, roll over onto one side and push yourself up all the way into a seated position. We're going to take the feet together, we're coming into cobbler pose or bound angle, however you know this one to be. And we're going to take the soles of the feet together. Now I want quite a generous angle in between the legs. We're going to target into the outer thigh and hip, rather than the inner thigh so much. So quite a large angle. And we're just going to arrive on the sit bones. So really feel the sit bones in contact with the floor. Turn the palms upwards and just rest them on the knees or on the shins. And we're working through with 3 stages in this pose today. So take a deep breath in for me. And then as you exhale, just feel the chin tucking into the chest. And we're going to come down just a third of the way. Just a third of the way into your pose. So not too deep. Literally just introducing this movement. And staying here for me, just start to deepen your breath. Start to deepen the inhale, start to deepen the exhale. Maybe you'd like to shift and move a little bit just to arrive in this position. Take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, we're going to move another third into the position. So edging your way down a little bit more. No rush to arrive, we stay here for quite some time, so give your body a chance to adapt to this shape. Once again, you might like to shift, you might like to rock and sway. Give yourself time to fidget initially. Take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, find your edge in this pose. So coming into your version of this asana in your way. So this could be quite a intense forward fold. You might be sitting upright still. If the hips are quite tight, you might be sitting directly on top of the sit bones. If the hips are restricting you, you might struggle to fold over forward, and don't worry about that. So finding this position, we eventually come to stillness. And in stillness, we want to find an area where you're not going to be tempted to fidget, not tempted to itch or scratch, not any burning or searing pain, but just that edge where we soften into the connective tissues and trigger our relaxation response. If you start to feel resistance, if you start to feel frustration, take a deep breath into the belly. Slowing the breath down, notice how that changes your experience in this pose. And know that at times I will take my voice back in this evening's practice, just to allow you to really focus on how you can feel and what you're experiencing in this moment in time. Start to energize through the breath and turn the palms downwards, and then slowly and methodically bring yourself up to sitting slower than slow. Draw the legs into the body and just take a moment to window wiper the legs side to side. So with the yin, we really want to focus on slowing down as we come out of each posture, because that's when we really feel that sweet sensation of release through the joints and connective tissues. So bringing the feet down to the floor now, we're going to come into a staggered easy pose. So draw one leg in, as if you're coming into a cross-leg position, and then you draw the other leg in. So you've got one foot staggered in front of the other foot, knees relaxing out to the sides. If you have space and you're taking or practicing half lotus, you might pick up that outside foot and you might cross it into the groin, taking that half lotus position, or full lotus if you're feeling really, really supple. But know that coming into just a staggered easy pose is more than enough for the hip opening in this position. So once again, we find that positioning with the sit bones in contact with the floor. And we're going to just bring the hands in front of the body. So just bring the fingertips down to the floor and just start to send some awareness to the outside of the hips. Take note of what you can feel here. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, we just creep the hands forward slightly, coming into 1/3 of this pose. Again, working with those 3 distinct sections in each position, just to ensure we don't rush, we don't overexert, and we definitely don't strain any joints, any muscles or ligaments. Once again, taking a deep breath in. Maybe you stay where you are, maybe the exhale travels you slightly deeper into this pose. Trying to keep the sit bones still in contact with the floor, so we're not rocking off the sit bones, we're staying grounded. Again, just allow yourself this time. If you'd like to sway, if you'd like to articulate and move through the spine, you're welcome to for now. Take another deep breath in. As you exhale, inquire of yourself if you're going to take this further or if you're going to come up and resist a little bit more. You know your body, you're getting those messages from your body right now. And when you've come into that last third of the pose, we now find our stillness. So close off the eyes, drop the head, deepen the breath. And we're holding this pose now for 2 whole minutes. So notice if there's any resistance for you wanting to stay here for that time, because that is quite a long time to hold a pose. If your body's resisting that, you've either gone too far into the pose, or you are operating with a lot of yang energy. You need to move into your yin side. Channel that yin energy that this full moon is bringing. So see if you can deepen that breath any more as I take my voice back for the last minute. And then on your inhale, start to energize the body. Come up onto the hands and slowly, slowly, we start to walk back to the hips. Take the hands behind the hips and send the legs out long. And just take a moment to allow the legs to twist side to side. Nice and gentle, just allowing the femur to rotate in the ball and socket joint of the hip. And we're taking that through on the other side now. So crossing the other leg in, heel coming towards the groin. And then we take the other leg out. And we take initially that staggered cross-legged easy position. One foot in front of the other foot. Choosing to stay there. Or choosing to take half lotus by taking the outside foot, lifting and crossing. So we tuck that foot up onto the middle of the thigh. Once again, as I said, please don't feel free to take that option. Please feel that you can stay staggered through the feet. That's more than enough for your hips. So coming into your cross-leg position, we're going to find the sit bones in contact with the floor. Make sure you just take a moment to rock and establish a grounding. And we take the fingertips in front of the legs and the body again. So we often have one side that has a little bit more tension than the other, so just identify for yourself if this is your side. And again, we work through in 3 stages. So take a deep breath in and inflate the lungs. And And then as you exhale, maybe walking those fingertips out a little more. Maybe just taking a gentle rock and a sway into this fold. Remember, this is just a third into your position. We give the body chance to acknowledge which direction we're moving into, and then we take another deep breath in. And allow the exhale to carry you into 2/3 of this position. Finding that 2/3 position where we find a little bit more space, maybe a little bit more stress in the hips that we're trying to work through. Allow yourself to shift, to adjust. Take another deep breath in. And allow the exhale to let you travel into the last third. Now in a normal yoga class, in a yang yoga class where you move out of the postures after a few breaths, you might be asked to go to your maximum, but as we are here for 2 minutes, I don't want you to be at your absolute maximum. I need you to be at that sweet, soft edge, that place between pain and pleasure, where it's not burning, where it's not excruciating, tearing or ripping, but there's that sweet release through the hips. And we stay here for 2 whole minutes. So deepen the breath and deepen your connection with yourself in this moment. Drop the head. Close the eyes. And start to deepen your inhale, energizing through the body. Slowly we lift up onto the hands. Take your time, no rush. We begin to walk the hands back into the body. And just allow the legs to uncross. Maybe you want to straighten them out long, taking away some of that tension from the knees. And have a gentle rock side to side. Lovely, so we're going to move over onto our front now. We're going to come into a wide leg forward, a wide leg child's pose. So coming over onto your hands and your knees, we're going to take the toes together, and then you want a really big distance in between the knees. So taking the knees about the width of the mat, maybe a little bit wider, maybe a little bit narrower depending on your inner thigh mobility. Taking the hands out in front of you. We're just going to start to walk the hands out long and nod the forehead down to the floor. So you have a few options with the hands. You can keep the arms out long, or if you'd like to focus in more on the hips opening, you can take the hands, stacking one on top of the other, and you can nod the forehead down to the hands. Wherever you are in this pose, in your version of this pose, just take note of how you feel in this moment. Notice any emotions that arise. Any sensations in the hips. And just know that whatever you are feeling, that's perfect. And that's fine. You should never feel like you need to feel any differently to how you feel in the moment. See if you can deepen your breath a little bit more. Sending that inhale all the way down to the back and the bottom of the pelvis. Just giving in and just surrendering to the weight of your body. And then as you inhale, gaze and at your hands. Just take time to walk the hands slowly back towards you. We're going to make our way all the way down over onto our fronts. So lying down all the way onto your bellies. Going to take a hip opening and a chest opening position now. So I'd like you to take your right arm out all the way to the side. And you want it to be about shoulder height. So lengthen that arm long. We're coming into starfish. So rest your right cheek on the floor, turning your head to the side. And your left hand is underneath your left shoulder. From here, you're going to push into that left hand, rolling over, maybe onto your side. Maybe you don't come up very high at all. We're coming all the way over onto our side. You're going to feel an opening through the right side of the chest. Take a bending to both knees, and you have the option to keep the knees stacked, one on top of the other, or if you'd like to take it into a hip opener as well, you can lift that top leg. So we're opening that left knee and we're allowing it to rotate and open up backwards. Make sure the head is relaxing down on the floor and we're not holding or straining through the neck. Really, you're just finding a place where you can feel a sense of tension releasing from the right side of the body. Notice if you're gripping in the hips, in the jaw. These are all places that we store tension. But it's okay identifying these areas of tension. We can then make the conscious decision to release them. We release off these tensions by directing the breath to these areas. When we slow down and deepen our breath, we move out of our stress response and into our rest and digest response, which is where the healing takes place. just take a moment to exist in this bliss, knowing that you are healing on a cellular level right now. And as I take my voice back for the last minute in this pose, truly just enjoy this sensation. Taking a deep breath in, slowly we're rolling ourselves back down onto our fronts. And just take a moment to slide that right hand in and roll through the shoulders. Staying where you are, I'm just switching around so I can still face you. This time we're taking our left arm out long, so sending the left arm away. Gazing at those fingertips for a moment just to make sure the arm is in line with the shoulder. Resting your left cheek on the floor, so we're gazing at the right hand, which is placed just underneath the right shoulder. Pushing into that right hand, we're rolling over onto our left side. Feeling that opening in the left side of the body, we bend the knees. Choosing to keep the knees bent if you'd like, or if you'd like to make it a little bit more of a hip opener, we lift that top knee and we open up through the inner thighs. And just find your edge in this pose, making sure that you are not experiencing severe discomfort and pain, but more an opening and a release of tension. Knowing that difference is knowing how to be really in tune and intuitive with your body. So those of you that spend a lot of time seated, or a lot of time on your computer, texting, driving, which is pretty much all of us, this pose is perfect to do at the end of a long week. My favourite pose to do at the end of the week. Because you're opening the front side of the body, which spends so much time contracted, so much time retracting round and down, and instead we're opening up and out. Once again, noticing where you're holding the tension. Are your hips and glutes contracting and squeezing? If so, can you release them? Are you frowning? If you are, smile. And just feel that moment of happiness and pride within yourself for knowing that you're taking this time to truly heal this evening. For this last minute in this pose, I'll take my voice back and allow you to enjoy. Start to energize through your breath and slowly, slowly bring both knees back together and then start to roll over onto your front, taking the hands underneath your shoulders. We roll one shoulder and the other shoulder back, taking a moment just to reset. And then when you're ready, we're rolling over onto our backs, coming into some deep twists before we take our relaxation. So we're taking the knees in close to the body, and we're taking the arms out to shoulder height. And then I'd like you to allow the knees to drop over to one side. Now you can do this with the legs stacked, or if you'd like to come into a deeper twist, we can wrap the legs one on top of the other, and we let the legs fall over to the side. This is your twisted roots version. From wherever you are, try and turn the palms upwards, and try and keep that opposite shoulder attached to the floor. From where you are, you can send the gaze, so you look away from the legs. Closing off the eyes, try and soften your abdominal wall, as these deep twists are detoxifying, cleaning house of all your internal organs. So just give them the permission to do so, releasing into this pose. And when we are unstacking the legs, if they were stacked, bringing them all the way back through to center, and just take a moment to rock them side to side. We're taking this twist over on the other side, so draw the knees in close to the body and allow them to fall to the opposite side. If you took the twisted version on the first side, I'd suggest you do the same. And we cross those legs over and we allow them to fall over to one side. Knowing that it's perfectly normal to have the legs suspended in the air, so that's fine. What you really want is the shoulder blades to still be attached. So if you've lifted through that other side of the body, come out of the pose a little bit for you. Give your body a chance to arrive. There's no rush. We're not expecting anything of your body other than what it's doing. And then sending your gaze to look away from the legs, looking at the opposite hand. Feeling that twist stem all the way out through the crown of the head. Noticing if you're engaging or squeezing your belly in this position. And see if you can just encourage yourself to release. See what that feels like. And then slowly we uncross those legs. Bring them all the way back, slowly through to center. Maybe take a moment to just allow them to rock side to side. And then in your own time, making your way into Shavasana, stretching the legs out long, taking the arms close to the body and closing down the eyes. Completely giving in here to the effects of gravity and surrendering into the last pose in your practice for this evening. This is actually the most difficult pose you can ask your body to do, as in asking your body to stay relaxed but stay awake is a real challenge for us. So in honor of this full moon, I'd like to finish with a gratitude meditation. So as you lie here, just connect in with my voice and allow the words to enter your mind. Connecting firstly with your head, your forehead, your face, and consider your eyes, how important they are to you. Connecting with your ears, admiring their ability to listen, to hear. Connecting with the nose and the mouth. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Noticing your lips, your strong teeth, your tongue that allows you to enjoy every variety of flavor, of texture. Say thank you to these body parts as you lie here in appreciation, sending a warm thanks down to the soles of your feet that carry you around each and every day. Moving to the spine and feeling the strength of the important bones. Sending appreciation to all of the hard structures in the body that protect vital organs, such as our ribs protecting our lungs, and our skull protecting our brain. In comparison to these areas of us that are hard and dense, notice the soft fragility of our skin. Knowing that whatever we may look like on the surface, that when you move past the superficial external layer, we are all much the same. Connective tissues support bony structures, linking with muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Our lungs breathe. Our hearts all beat. So taking a moment now to be truly thankful for our body and everybody you might come into contact with, that you have been into contact with. You can allow any remaining images or feelings to fade from the mind now. And start to energize through your breath. Maybe shifting your physical body in contact with the floor. Wiggling maybe fingers and toes. And when you're ready, slowly rolling over onto your left side, the yin side of the body. And when you're ready, pushing yourself up into a seated position with me. Bring your hands through to prayer in front of your heart center and bow your forehead to your fingertips, taking a moment of appreciation, a moment of thanks. Thank you for choosing to spend your Friday evening, part of your full moon, with me. The light in me honours and acknowledges the light in you. Om Shanti. Namaste.